Hi, my name's John, and this is Business Update. In this week's episode, we'll be talking about how Apple is in hot water with regards to their latest product, the Apple AirTags. And there were concerns regarding when it first launched before. And now we're here today. There have been more growing concern as to what Apple is planning to do with this serious problem, and it pertains to the safety of individuals. So it's one thing that your device gets stolen, it's another that they use that device to track someone in particular. It could be you, which is kind of concerning. And how could Apple let a product like this be available in the market despite their good intentions of trying to help people out? But good intention always has unintended consequences, and I think it's a big oops on their part of not considering the severe repercussion if in the future a report would to come out that someone was harmed because of said devices. Would they be held culpable here? Can they be sued? Should the government step in and so forth? Anyway, we'll dig deep into the most recent article here at theverge.com. I think you can see it now. Yes. It says here, Apple says it will make unknown AirTags alert you sooner. And from the title itself, it's somewhat vague. And again, how long will they make the changes to improve the safety of the device? And obviously, that's the number one primary goal here, regardless of if you're into it or not, or against using said devices here. Anyway, let's take a closer look. So it mentions here the trackers may also get louder, but we're not sure when or by how much. And again, the vagueness, because of the device that you're marketing as a helpful tool, is also helpful, devious people, for in terms of stalking people, which is not very ideal. And how could this product be not mentioned in terms of their product development and in their product development? And even if concerns were voiced, what did the decision makers in the company, all the way to Tim Cook, agreed to or allowed such devices be available for market with their branding here? It would be a nightmare, PR nightmare, if hopefully not in the future, that someone were to be harmed because of someone using this device here. Now, obviously, one has to be pessimistic with regards to safety here. That's why when you talk of vaccinations, there are people on both sides that for vaccination and against vaccination, right? But then at the end of the day, the safety of the individual is tantamount here. That's why government has to step in with regards to what is required, mandated, what should be allowed, not allowed, and so forth and so forth. Now, obviously, this is totally different from vaccine, but in terms of its intended use to help people rather than, provide headaches of sorts here. Anyway, let's read closer here. Anyway, it mentions here, following multiple reports of stalking, which is what we were concerned about in the first place. Apple, the company, plans to improve the AirTag safeguard against unwanted tracking later this year, which is even more concerning when the key word is later this year. So meaning it's not their top priority. So meaning, are they waiting for something bad to happen before they would take action upon it? And the key here is, it's not as if there's a hardware issue. It's more of a software that they could just simply update so that they could rectify it quickly. And if they can't, that's on them, because they should have considered that even before releasing said product. Anyway, it goes on to mention that Apple says that users will be alerted sooner when an unknown AirTag is detected traveling with them. Now, how soon? There's no idea. And I think, for best case scenario, should be shorter or even instantaneous. As soon as, your device, your Bluetooth device, can detect an unknown device within your vicinity, you should be made aware so that you can, look on your person. If you're carrying a bag, is there something on it that looks suspicious, or is it in your pocket, and so forth and so forth, so that you can be protected here. Because it only takes one incident for, let's say, one person when you typically do your errands or go to work. Typically travel time is around an hour or so, depending on how close or how far you are from where you work and where you live. But at the end of the day, it should alert you at the very most an hour or earlier, preferably here, so that the person is made aware, which kind of confusing, or that's the whole point. That's why when they developed this product, did they even consider the consequences of what these products could have been used for? Anyway, it mentions here that it'll also make unknown AirTags easier to find by adjusting the tone sequence, which might make them sound louder, but by how much? And guiding people directly to a mystery AirTag using the ultra wideband chip available to newer iPhones, which is another concerning fact. How about if you're an Apple user that do not own the latest iPhone models? You'll be left vulnerable. How about those who don't even use an Apple iPhone, using Android devices? What about them? Shouldn't they be a concern also? So you just imagine if you try to peel up a different layers of the products that they're offering, which is, it's not safe in itself, and they're branding themselves as a very safe product in terms of security and encryption with their devices, which is, actually someone was able to hack their phone already, but that's another discussion here. Anyway, as mentioned here, AirTags were designed to help people locate their personal belongings, not track people or other persons' property, and they condemn the strongest possible terms of any malicious use of their product, which is kind of sad because I think even they released the product, they should have known. I mean, I'm assuming they hired the smartest people in their company, and not to consider the possibility that could be used for other than its intended use is very irresponsible. And even if those people in the product team were to air those concerns with the decision makers, did the decision makers just neglect and turn a blind eye and say, I think we're going to make a killing here, make a lot of money here, regardless of the consequence of, could be pose a risk for the consumers here. Just kind of sad if you think about it. The company acknowledges that it's seeing increased reports. Yeah, increased reports is concerning, but what's even more concerning is what if someone were to be harmed because of your device? Obviously lawsuits would be a plenty here, and in a worst case scenario, they have to discontinue the product. But why wait, right? Or make the improvements now, make it a top priority before it even gets even worse. I think either way, there are always solutions to a problem, but choosing not to do anything, making it a top priority is a problem here, regardless of which side, whether you want to use it or you're very apprehensive of using this product here. Anyway, it mentions here Apple says it's updating its algorithm to more quickly notify users that an unwanted tracker may be on the person. So if you have an iPhone 11, 12, 13, will be able to use precision finding to see exactly where an unknown AirTag is within range. And again, it's not a complete list of all devices available in the market. So if you don't know those models, then tough luck. So I think they did not think it through in terms of offering a superior product in terms of, it's one thing to create a smarter device. It's another to create a find me device and so forth, in the case of the AirTags here. Anyway, it mentions here, in the forthcoming updates, Apple says anyone setting up an AirTag will see a new privacy warning that says using AirTags for unwanted tracking is a well. Again, saying it is one thing. You have the power to do something about it with regards to your software devices. Then why not act upon it? Having a statement just to have a escape clause so that you won't be sued because you're doing your part. But in the first place, you should have do more diligence in terms of creating a safe product. Imagine if if your smartphone devices like the Apple, I don't know, 13 Pro or Pro Max, the battery was faulty, you would not release it to the market, right? Even Samsung, when they made the mistake in the Note, I think in the Note 10, I forgot which model, they had to recall their product so that it could be fixed right away, rather than risk the wrath of their consumers and switching to a different company. At the time, I think it was Huawei was still there, or even worse, go to Apple, right? So would you wait until the worst case scenario before acting upon it? Hopefully not. Anyway, it goes on to say that the message will also highlight the victims will be notified upon detection, and the law enforcement can be requested. Now, I think that should have been incorporated in the device because, again, those concerns was already made. I don't think, people in Apple are not that smart that they're not able to consider that if I were to use that, can I use it for other than, tracking my keys or my things that I keep on losing in my case. And it also mentions that they'd be updating its support documents to include more detailed again, per words, detailed, act upon it. You communicate it better with your, obviously you post it in your website so people could check it out, or post a video so that people can be communicated clearly, could understand it more clearly. But at the end of the day, it's on your end that you have more control rather than what people would perceive here. And there are still some major unanswered questions as mentioned. You don't know yet exactly when these updates will be available. Is it a month from now, 3 months, 6 months, or a year later? So by then, a lot of terrible things could have happened by then. And are is Apple can be held responsible? And they only say that it's going to happen later this year. So meaning it's not their top priority here based on their statement. And they also decline to share how much earlier notifications will arrive. So again, the vagueness here is obviously it's not ideal, especially if you're trying to get the best feedback from consumers. And if it turns off, the consumers, you can lose a significant chunk of your market share here. Now, obviously, they're betting that their strong brand will carry through regardless of the backlash that it creates because of its convenience and ecosystem it has generated, incorporated in their brand. Now, obviously, so it's not only the fault of the company if people, if the company produces it, obviously they're liable, but it's also the people who should be knowledgeable also that there are risks in terms of buying said device, regardless if it's an AirTag, an iPhone, smartphone, laptops, or any devices. You should be responsible to understand that there are risks mentioned, more risk in particular to the Apple AirTag. So obviously you have to do your part, and the easiest way is not to buy it, so that the company would know that if no one buys it because of safety concern, then they may need to change it or maybe scrap the whole product and try to repackage it or rebrand it of sorts here. But at the end of the day, if the markets demand it, Apple will continue to sell it, and it will sell both loads of AirTags here. The fact that they can sell, I think was it Louis Vuitton or Hermes? I forgot, that sells keyring accessories here, which cost more than the AirTags themselves. Anyway, it mentions here the users will receive an alert, a random period between 8 to 24 hours. I think it should be less than an hour. That's how fast should be the update here. Not takes a day. By then it's too late. And it declined to clarify whether the improved sound alerts would merely emphasize louder noise or tones, or actually play at a volume louder than its current 60 decibels. Now, I think making it sound louder is subjective, and obviously there should be a better way. And obviously, when you're using your phone, if it's going to inform you, and obviously it should be that should you alert you, similar to how disasters messages you, like in our country here, that you will get a prompt that you would know that there is something serious, that the phone is vibrating, the message is very bold, it's large, and it'll get your attention here. Now, obviously, if it prompts you every so often, then people will get tired. Similar to how car alarms works, people tend to ignore the alarms rather than what's going on there, is someone stealing a car and so forth, right? People tend to ignore it, like spam mails, if you think about it. Hopefully they could get it fixed, because there's always a solution here. And at the end of the day, even though I'm not an Apple user, but I'm for the product as long as it benefits the users themselves. And I tend to lose keys, not even lose keys, misplace them, especially if I'm in a hurry to to go to work, and going several flights of stairs up and down, and then remembering inside the car, I think I left my key at home. How am I supposed to get inside later on? So obviously, the device here took decades before they released something viable here in terms of Apple, but obviously other companies have tried to sell that products anyway. Hopefully they can settle it sooner rather than later here, right? Anyway, here's to hoping for a happy ending for before it gets any worse here. Anyway, I think that's about it. Thank you for joining me today. For more business focus, business updates, sorry. Come back again on Wednesday for more business update. As always, if you have any question, leave your questions down below and try to get back to you. And links on the description for all for the article that I just discussed today. As always, Stay safe. See you in the next time. Bye.